I use the term gendered social context a lot in my work to explain the complex ways people interact with each other, specifically the way advertisers address women. It's a term to describe the ways our experience in social space is mediated by gender. And it's also a term for the way others perceive us in a social space based on our gender. So let's dig into that. Every society creates roles for people based on a variety of factors. Everyone is understood in relation to others as friends, partners, teachers, clients, any number of relationships or roles. Really, no one is separated from their social context, but most social contexts recognize people are individual actors. When they don't, it's usually a result of a person existing in a subordinate position, and it is easiest to see this in the social context of children. Children are understood to be part of a family unit controlled by parents. Children are not generally considered fully autonomous beings. When they are, it's something to notice. Most children are working toward becoming fully autonomous beings, and their social context takes that into account. Child social context means a person is too young to be fully autonomous while they actively learn how to become autonomous. But different children are taught different things. What they're taught depends on the larger society in which they're being raised. A child in Paris learns different things than a child in Chennai. Differences exist even within the same country. A child in Buffalo, New York will learn different things than a child in Clearwater, Florida, or a child in Sacramento, California. This isn't about schooling. It is entirely about the world in which they live. A child in Buffalo will learn about the lake effect and how to drive in snow. A child in Clearwater will learn about hurricanes and good beach etiquette. A child in Sacramento will learn about wildfire season and cycling norms. Those children will learn about the social dynamics of their home, including the impact of their unique ethnic diversities. A child in Buffalo lives in a city that is almost 1/2 white and 1/3 Black or African American. A child in Clearwater lives in a city that is over 3/4 white. A child in Sacramento lives in a city with a white majority and has significant Asian and Black or African American populations. Will this affect their life growing up? Yes. And their ethnicity doesn't matter. The fact that they live in whatever city with whatever demographic makeup will have an effect on their life. And these examples are all city kids. They'll have different experiences in different contexts. Life in a rural area is very different from life in an urban environment. City kids learn how to navigate a sea of humanity without losing their sense of self. Rural kids learn to form strong bonds with the few people in their small towns. Anyone who moved as a kid knows the impact context has on an experience. Going from the coast to the landlocked interior, or from a Spanish-speaking country to an Arabic-speaking one, will absolutely change how that child grows up. Context matters, even if we don't know that's what we're talking about. Gendered social contexts start out like the ones I've just described, and then have gendered expectations layered on top of them. Gender becomes the lens through which a person is perceived and perceives the world. A gendered social context is the way a person's gender is impacted by the world they live in and how that gender affects the world in return. Concretely, we often identify people by their relationships. Carrie's kids are Alex and Bailey. Devin is married to Emerson. Finley is Greer's best friend. Harry and Jack are roommates. We also identify roles. Lee cooks for the family and Morgan cleans. Nikki is an artist. Parker works for Intel. So it's really not surprising that we also address people as part of a larger community. We'll ask one partner if they both want to come over for dinner, or knowing if we want to invite friends over, we have to check with our roommates to make sure it's okay. Where it gets interesting is in the assumptions we made about those examples. Now be honest, did you picture a certain gender with any of the examples above? Is Nikki a man or a woman? What about Parker? Are Finley and Greer the same gender? Did you picture any of these people as non-binary? The assumptions we make about these relationships and identities influence how we understand the people in them, and it affects how we interact with them. Let's consider the roommates, Harry and Jack. Imagine their interactions. Got it? Now, is Jack short for Jackson or Jacqueline? Does assuming Jack is a man or a woman change how you perceive their relationship? That relationship context changes based on Jack's gender, and our understanding of that relationship changes based on our assumptions. We all have ideas about what a relationship between a man and a woman living together looks like. Some of us presume it's sexual. Some of us presume one is not attracted to people of the other's gender. And some of us assume it is exactly the same as if they were both the same gender. And remember, this is all working within a gender binary, which is a vast oversimplification of the reality of lived experience. What if Jack is agender, or gender fluid, or bigender? Does that affect how you understand their relationship with Harry? Well, in a roommate situation or a friendship, it's unlikely. But when we add the multiplicity of gender to a marriage or a perceived sexual relationship, our own beliefs complicate things. Does Devin and Emerson's marriage look different to you if they're both women? What if Emerson is non-binary? Lee cooks and Morgan cleans, and if Lee is a woman and Morgan is a man, is it weird that Morgan cleans? Most of us don't think about this all that much, even when we're confronted with these situations. Gender is one of those things that is so crucial in how we interact with the world and how the world interacts with us. Many of us don't consciously notice it. I encourage you to think about these examples and the assumptions you made about the gender of each person. And I encourage you to think beyond the binary of women and men. Think about what you think the rules of life are, and if those rules are tied to gender, and if they have to be. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.